On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 2008. We're going to be taking a look at Kid Rock being joined by Lynyrd Skynrd, and they're going to be performing All Summer Long and Sweet Home Alabama. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So let's get everybody up on screen. Kid Rock is going to be joined by Lynyrd Skynrd a little bit later on. As always, there's going to be a link to this video in the description below, so you can click on that to watch it the whole way through without me interrupting it. But I am probably going to jump in at some point just to warn you. But let's get into this.
People, I'd like to bring out some very good friends right now. Mr. Johnny Van Zandt, Ricky Medlock, Billy Powell, and Gary Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, Lynyrd Skynrd.
I'm just going to jump in here. It's really difficult to jump into this one because you just want to watch it the whole way through. But when I first heard this song All Summer Long, it was one of those huge hits here in the UK, but also all around the world. And if you don't know the background, you would just say, well, that is Sweet Home Alabama, and it's just ripping off another song. But I think that this is such a great idea, but a great way of approaching a composition in order to give a little bit of respect, but also show your respect and your admiration of another band and another song. So the thing with this is that Kid Rock has exactly this same progression that we've got in Sweet Home Alabama. Like that, from the D to the C to the G, and he's written his own lyrics over the top. But the thing about this is, with the composition, it's actually credited to 8 songwriters, because that includes the songwriters from Lynyrd Skynrd. So everyone's sharing it around, and it is something that Kid Rock also has his name on there. There's also Warren Zevon with the song Werewolves of London. So the writers of that song are included. So there's a few songs rolled into one here. I love the fact that if you are going to pay tribute to a song like Sweet Home Alabama and a band like Lynyrd Skynrd, just doing a cover of Sweet Home Alabama would never work, because you can never improve, and it'll be impossible to improve upon that already legendary song. So just reworking it and doing it in this way, I think, is a really cool way to pay tribute to that original song and the band, but really brings all of the band members, the bands independently, to the forefront, just all coming together. This is what music is all about. But we've got the full band here, and what a great live performance this is. Everything's in there that you want to hear. We've got all the guitar, the way that we then blend into Sweet Home Alabama, and the riff does change ever so slightly from when we make that transition from All Summer Long into Sweet Home Alabama. But interestingly, the difference in the lead that we have on Sweet Home Alabama, as we will see, the lead tends to be a little bit more major based and a little bit of minor pentatonic in there, but the solo that we've just had was very much minor based. So it's interesting how we have that slight change. But the great thing about Sweet Home Alabama as a composition is that it's got just an iconic riff. As soon as you just go, you instantly know, just because of the expression in the playing, the way it's been played, and the way that Ed King plays this on that original record. There's so much with that right hand getting them and getting the notes to pop out. Also a little bit of that little downstrokes and upstrokes. The other thing to mention is that we've got just 3 chords throughout this whole song, and you don't question that because of the way that it's been put together. And you've got the perfect call and response going on the whole time, not only from the vocal to the guitar, but also the vocal, the guitar, and the piano, which pops in there. And just listen out for that on the original record. Even if you're just playing it back in your head, that piano is so prominent, the way that it just jumps in there and then takes a seat back, and you hear the vocal. Everything's just popping in and out exactly when required. So because we've just got 3 chords here, if they were being played just straight, throughout the whole song, it's going to be really difficult to keep that interesting because nothing's changing. Whereas when we play through the riff, there's little variations that happen throughout the song that just pique your ear. And we've got the, in that intro, just little bits that make it interesting, because we're not just strumming chords here, we're picking out notes from the chords that are then making it into the riff. The great thing about this song as well is that you can get into different layers of difficulty. For example, if you just wanted to play through the chords, then you can do, and that's going to work for the whole song. If you want to get into the palm muting and the right hand picking, and then the little extra runs that are going on, that's now another layer that you'll have to work on. The same can be said for the chorus. If you just want to play it straight, then that's going to work. You can then go to another level of throwing in the chords, but with a little riff in there. And then, so that's another level. And then you can play the other rhythm part when Ed King's going slightly higher up the fretboard. And just looking at these 3 chords and looking at the guitar parts, you can see how much has been layered on top of each other and interwoven in order to keep it so interesting, because we have this that little line, same thing, like that. So that's just layered over the top of the other rhythm. So even though it's only 3 chords, just on guitar there is so much going on that is really interesting and changing all the time. We've also got one of the best examples of a melodic guitar solo that is totally relevant to the chord changes that are happening underneath, but it's just been put in so well. It's exactly what the track needs, but it's not overplaying, where we have this that part, and it's that kind of vibe, but it just sits in there so well because of the chord changes and the fact that we're just playing the fill shapes of those chords. So the D, C, into the G. If you want to move it up a little bit. But that's what's happening in a nutshell. We're moving with the chords. So that is going to just sound interesting anyway, because we're not playing the same shape, we're not playing the same notes all the time. And listen out for the technique in here. The really subtle slides that we have. Sliding down again. Into... the little dive on that whammy bar, just a very quick touch, but again makes all the difference to the very end part of that. And I think that end part is around that kind of area. It might be some different harmonics that are going on there, but it's in the right kind of ballpark, and it's just great to play through that. Just as a guitarist, you love, and I love, playing melodic lines that just fit a song so well, and that's exactly what we get in this song. I just want to quickly jump into the solo just to point out that emphasis on more of the minor key than the major key that we have throughout the song originally, or at least in Sweet Home Alabama. I think this is still technically All Summer Long, so the solo here is a little bit more minor based. So straight off the bat, we've got this. Might go for a little bit of a neck pickup here, but that kind of thing. Let's have a listen. Okay, just repeating phrases there. Just 3 times through. And a little bluesy. And a little bit of really wide vibrato there, really cool. Really cool lines there. We've got that little variation that second time. And a really cool little line at the top here. We've got this. And a little bluesy rundown. And the vibrato here is really key to making this sound slightly less aggressive than always being in that minor pentatonic shape. Having this blues scale, you can hear by applying a wider vibrato, you touch on that major note that we've got, which if you don't hit that, you're going to be on minor, major, and if I went, there's nothing in there that is just going to pique your interest from this bluesy sound that we're getting, the progression, the chords underneath. When you go and you pinch it towards that major key, and with a wider vibrato you're touching onto that major note with that vibrato. So rather than pinching to it, the vibrato's covering that, so it's really subtle, but it just takes it to that slightly more upbeat, happier place. Just a quick word on Kid Rock and his approach to performing and music in general, being a multi-instrumentalist, but also being one of those guys that started off in hip-hop, I think, and then has moved on. He's got one of those voices that sounds like it is just classic rock. When he really leans into his sound, pushes his chest voice, he gets that rasp in there. So he's such a mix of genres, and having this kind of country rock sound to his voice and country sound as well, he strikes me as one of those guys that would have been classic outlaw country back in the day, Johnny Cash. Just having that attitude, you can tell by the way that he's performing on stage, he's just got total confidence, and he never flips over into a lighter vocal cord configuration, which can happen in country quite a lot. And you can sometimes get the yodel sound, which is definitely something that Kid Rock doesn't do, but some singers that take it to that lighter place and then haven't really got access to that heavier place, the real attitude that Kid Rock has in his voice. This is one of those analysis videos that could last all day, but let's jump back into the performance.
Oh, people, I'd like to bring out some very good friends right now. Mr. Johnny Van Zandt, Ricky Medlock, Billy Powell, and Gary Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, Lynyrd Skynrd. Turn it up!
Big wheels keep on turning. Songs about Southland. Come on. I miss Alabama once again, and I think it's sin. Make some noise. Yeah. Mr. Kid Rock.
I heard Mr. Young sing about her. I heard O'Neal put her down. I hope Neil Young he will remember. A Southern man don't need him around anyhow. Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you all the time.
Sweet home Alabama, oh sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue.
And there we have it. What a fantastic live performance. And that is what it's all about. You can tell that everyone's so into this performance. The sound there live must have been amazing for the full band. And a quick shout out to Stacey Michelle as well on backing vocals. You can hear the backing vocals are spot on here. And Stacey is one of those backing vocalists who is always just at the top of her game. I did mention her in a Joe Walsh video previously that I did on this channel, and she did get in touch over on Instagram. So a big thank you to her. But just the whole band here, super tight. And then when the guys come out on stage, just take it to another level. Now that we're totally into Sweet Home Alabama, the way that that piano comes in from Billy Powell, and Unfortunately, I mean, sadly, Billy passed away, I believe, a year after this, 2009. This performance is in 2008. And you could also hear the way that Gary comes in with that lead, Gary Rossington, very much now in that major pentatonic shape 1, just tweaking it towards the minor, maybe with a bend. So we have this. That kind of thing, rather than starting all in that minor pentatonic, which we had. But you'll find that the best players are going to be blending these shapes together so that you can jump from there and do that kind of thing. So it's just minor pentatonic to major pentatonic. And if you want to find those two shapes, if you know pentatonic shape 1, which is that shape there, that's going to be your major position. Because D here, your bar chord shape, just shift up 2 frets, you'll be in major pentatonic shape 1, and then shift it up 3 frets and you'll be in the minor pentatonic shape. So you can start to blend those two shapes together. That's all I did there. We're going exactly the same line that I just played a second ago, going from the minor shape to the major shape. But you'll find that all the great players just transition between those shapes seamlessly, and also take some of those notes from that major note in there. But here we haven't got that classic kind of Chuck Berry we've got more of a subtle bend like that, pushing it up towards, but not hammering on, because hammering on is very much a kind of, you know, Chuck Berry type of sound. Just to mention that we've got Ricky Metlock here as well, supplying a little bit of rhythm on that guitar, and Johnny Van Zant, who has such a distinctive vocal. As soon as he starts supplying that lead vocal, that's twang that he has to his voice, it just takes it to that southern rock place instantly, and it is unmistakable. But what a fantastic performance here all round, and I think it's great as well that you can really sense the mutual respect between the artists on stage. But I love the fact that Kid Rock has approached it in this way in order to come up with something original that is really borrowing parts from the original song and songs that he wants to pay tribute to, but it's such a great way of doing it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Keep those suggestions coming for future videos in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!